got trigger happy here. Look at. Well, they're telling her to move, but that's a public sidewalk. They're telling her to move. Watch, if they shoot her. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Where'd it get you? Really? She's not doing anything. Come on. We're moving.
What's gonna hurt?
There's 40 millimeters.
Why are you gonna shoot a 40 millimeter to someone 3 feet away who's asking your badge number? What am I doing? Huh? You work for us. What is your badge number?
What is your name and serial
I'm
number?
behind glass. What is your badge number?
What is your name and serial number?
Why'd you rip the name off your helmet? What's your badge number?
All right.
Hey, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. What's your badge number?
That's okay. I'm gonna pop you right now because you're taking up my focus.
These are just some of the scenes defining the anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles, where civilians, and in this one case, even lawyers, aren't immune from state-sponsored violence. As long as communities continue sticking together to protect each other, regardless of their immigrant statuses, we're only going to see more of this type of response from local and federal law enforcement.
He's trash!
Our own TYT cameras captured this disturbing rampage as officers on horsebacks beat back non-violent protesters, reporters, and photographers, all expressing their constitutional rights to assemble and speak their minds together. The level of violence our fellow Americans are being subjected to should be completely unacceptable to anyone with an ounce of empathy for others. But as expected, you'll see the exact opposite if you tune into the right-wing media ecosystem.
Honestly, you know, my whole life I've heard people complain about traffic on the 405. Mass deportations will help solve that. And I mean, it's like, I'm being honest. I mean, you can't bring in millions of people and, you know, act as if they have the public infrastructure for it. And look, as a nation, we have a big heart. I think that if someone's in this country and they need immediate health care, yeah, you save their life. But you cannot simultaneously have domestic generosity with unruly invasion.
It is so gross for Kirk to make a joke like this, and it really reveals a key aspect of right-wing politics, stomping down on marginalized people to gain a more privileged position in society. And we're not surprised.
So many of the activists that you see on the streets, these are the the Latino ones at least, a lot of them are the really ungrateful children of immigrants who come to America, legal and illegal, working hard, trying to get the American dream. And what happens? They have to send their kids to school and they end up in the LA county, you know, the LA district, the LA school district. And that school district is not about educating. That district is, and that entire system is about creating little Marxist, communist activists. And those are the kids that you see, the young people you see on the streets there.
If the Democratic Party keeps up what they're doing in these big cities, why are they not a terrorist organization? It's a question that's got to be asked. You got to put it on the table. Muslim Brotherhood first, but then you have to do the analysis on the Democratic Party. It's so radical.
The Democrats are at what point are they declared to be a terrorist organization with all of the affiliations and all the violence and the shootings and the firebombings and the targeting Jews and on and on? You know, as the left squeals, whines, and attacks the police over deportations of illegal alien criminals. This is exactly what we, the American people, voted for on Election Day.
These are some of the dumbest statements I've ever heard about the Democratic Party. The notion that, or the question that at what point do we consider the Democratic Party a terrorist organization? Are you out of your mind? You think they're tolerant, that you think they accept any type of violence in these protests? Oh my, you clearly have not been watching the Democratic Party for quite some time at all. We know what the Democratic Party is about. And they are definitely now not about violence and, violence and protest and, anything that resembles communism or socialism. Let's stop with that.
They opened the border and they gave benefits to 10 million illegal aliens. The goal? Well, made a lot of those protesters happy, right? Those organizations. But the goal was to resettle America with new people in order to transform it completely in ways that you really can't do at the ballot box. At least when you're not that radical, when you're that radical.
They still support illegal immigration. They still want to flood our country with foreigners, despite the election results. And that's partly because they're confident in their ability to win the foreign vote by promising them access to the wallets and bank accounts of American citizens. They're confident in their ability to bribe foreigners into supporting them, in other words. The deeper goal is to reshape America demographically. It is to make America less white, less European by descent. It is ultimately about the destruction of Western civilization. Instead of simply targeting illegal aliens, the president should use his authority to immediately terminate all migration from the third world. We should start being extremely selective about the legal migration we allow, which means not allowing an unchecked flood of third world migration into this country. The United States has, for far too long, functioned as essentially a giant soup kitchen or a homeless shelter for the entire world. And it's not sustainable.
What Walsh and Ingram just said is blatantly white supremacist great replacement theory masked by dog whistles like Western civilization, third world, resettle, and transform America. You cannot fool us, okay? We see right through all your words, all your idiocy, okay? We see all through it.
All 10 million have to go. Not just the criminals in the insane asylum.
It was always the goal of Trump and the Republican Party to target everyone they suspect of being an undocumented immigrant. Not just the criminals and the quote-unquote bad people, like they said. They just couldn't campaign on saying what they really believe out loud. Even though, if you read between the lines, you understood this is what was going to happen. So for people who are awake and actually aware of all the moves and the strategies that Trump and the Republican Party have when it comes to immigration, this doesn't take you by surprise. It doesn't make it less infuriating and less repulsive, but it's not something that shocks you because you knew this was a very real possibility. For Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.